Self-improvement for happiness. Introduction. You can do everything right and still lose, or do everything wrong and still win. It is thus not about the outcome, it is about the actions that have to lead you to prepare yourself and your surroundings, what and how much to take, and what to do when something goes wrong. So you can safely increase your thinking, creativity, introspection, and emotional balance. We have to do some giant tasks of which the thought alone triggers resistance. We aren't sure how and where to begin and feeling overwhelmed before we even start. We get easily distracted to get rid of that feeling, only to suddenly realize that hours went by, precious hours, and then find ourselves in the same position as before, still not knowing where and how to begin, but now, feeling guilty on top of it, which expresses itself in more craving for distraction. But you know that you shouldn't be distracting yourself. You should be thinking, journaling, working, writing. Whatever it is you should be doing, you just can't quite muster the courage. This is perhaps the first explicit mention of positive thinking on how to care not just about the cash in your pocket, but also the thoughts in your head. All of us deal with one disorder or another, something that seems to disturb the very core of our being at ease, and while it might not always be the best strategy to want to get rid of it, it certainly helps to understand and have compassion for that little aspect that upsets that perfect image of ourselves. The importance of self-improvement often goes unnoticed. We are either conveniently brushing our shortcomings under the carpet, refusing to face them, or are just happy being ignorant. Truth is, you cannot run away from yourself. You want to hide. From who? Everyone. No one. Act. So you do something comfortable for the moment, something mentally absorbing. Write message to that friend you always message, play that game you always play, listen to that podcast you love so much. The farther you run, the deeper a grave you dig, because there will come a time when all those unresolved emotions will surface, leaving you overwhelmed. So, what should you do? Start with consciously becoming more self-aware, observing your thoughts, emotions, and responses, and deciding to make self-improvement an integral part of your life. All you need is your brain, pen and paper, and silence. Take your time and get to the root of your problem. Learn, study, and get motivation. Just the way learning should never stop, the same applies to self-improvement. The idea should be to focus on continuous self-development at every stage in our lives and become better versions of ourselves. We spend so much time getting to know other people and solve their issues. If only we spent that much time knowing ourselves, things would have been so much more different. Isn't it? Don't set expectations for running a marathon, just continue one step at a time. When you're done, ask, can you take one more step? When framed this way, I think you'd be surprised at how many single steps you can take. So what are you waiting for? It's just one step in many of great easy steps. The first step of self-improvement requires you to become more self-aware and get to know yourself better. It makes you question yourself and face reality for what it is, however harsh it might be. Self-awareness is an ongoing journey. As life progresses, you are met with different experiences and challenges, which make you more aware of your personality, thoughts, and feelings. So, to be on the path of self-improvement, it is important to never lose touch with yourself. Self-improvement lets you identify your strengths and play on them. From relationships to careers, knowing your strengths is important for every sphere of your life. It gives you a better understanding of what you are seeking and where you are likely to thrive and excel. It helps you set life goals and make them happen. After all, you can only achieve what you want when you recognize what you want. By nurturing and playing on your strengths, you are more likely to attain success and move towards shaping a happier and more productive life. Identifying the reasons why giving up seems like the best option is so important. There are many reasons why people want to give up, and each is driven by different motivations. However, there are a few human instincts that come into play here. Mistaking lessons for failure, not being able to see the roadblock for the lesson it is, and keep going anyway. The outcome is more important than the journey, putting more emphasis on the result and dismissing the importance of how you're getting to the end goal and growing along the way. Seeing the failure before it's even happened, self-sabotaging yourself by creating the thought that it just won't happen. This is usually down to limiting beliefs and a lack of self-belief. Lack of discipline, realizing that achieving your dream won't just fall into your lap within a few weeks, but will take hard work and determination. Not adjusting to changes, not embracing changes in direction, the need to tweak ideas or finding things evolve differently to how you originally imagined it and taking it as a sign it's not meant to work out, are showing you that you're not open to changes and the natural evolution to something even more amazing. People often say the moment they almost decided to give up was the moment just before they had a breakthrough. While demotivation, failure, and giving up feels horrible, there's a reason for this. It's because you're giving up on something that deep down you know is possible. That feeling of regret can hit you hard. When having regret, a person can experience emotional, cognitive, and neurophysiological effects. Regret is often accompanied by other negative emotions such as guilt, disappointment, self-blame, and frustration. Also, people frequently engage in cognitive exercises trying to understand why they made a poor decision or acted as they did, and what other choices they could have made to reap a better outcome. Moreover, regret activates certain areas of the cortex region of the brain. What if I had just stuck with it? I could have achieved it by now. What if I hadn't given up? How different my life would be. While regret is the number one thing you shouldn't waste your time doing before you quit your dream, just imagine how your life could transform and where you could be in a year, 2 years, or 5 years. Don't give your future self the chance to become regretful because of the one decision you make in the present moment. In this short book, we will try to explain the most important things for self-improvement and development. Maybe you already read a ton of books for this, but some of the bits of advice are just unique and need more time to implement. Self-improvement and personal development is not the same thing. Personal development skills are qualities and abilities that help you grow both personally and professionally. Understanding and improving these skills can help you maximize your potential. This process is also known as self-development or personal growth. Personal development is to focus narrowly on what development means. In all areas of life, biology, business, relationships, development usually speaks to something being in progress. And personal development is no different. It speaks more to the daily process we undergo that contributes to growth. Self-improvement, on the other hand, is more outcome-based. For something to improve, that means it needed to be in a certain state and then become better into a new state. So in that way, self-improvement is more the deliverable of the process and the evidence of growth. So to tie those two things together in a nice bow, personal development is the process that leads to achieving self-improvement. That's not to say it takes a long time to experience self-improvement. Things can change for the better in a matter of minutes. The difference isn't related to time, it's about the lens by which you are evaluating the progress. Personal development is how we do it, self-improvement is what? Personal development skills can be traits or qualities you already have or ones you can gain through education and training. People will value different personal development skills depending on their goals. By investing the time in your personal development to listen to the podcast or read books and articles, you can experience self-improvement every day. Daily improvement is important. Whether you start your plan for self-development, understanding the importance of continuous improvement is a key component of lean and agile methodologies. Using it at a small scale can help your plan operate more effectively. Implementing it at a large scale, as a top priority, can help you stay ahead of the competition. The most successful people are never satisfied with the status quo. They constantly have their eye on the next innovation, the next level of performance. They know the importance of continuous improvement in all areas of commerce. Even if things are going well, people at successful organizations are looking at what could be improved upon so that they can perform better. You have to find ways to work smarter, not harder, to be more efficient and profitable. The most successful peoples are always innovating and developing new ways to deliver first-rate quality to their customers. But this kind of behavior doesn't just happen. Sure, some people have a natural drive to keep improving their skills and the results they produce at work. But many people prefer to stay in their comfort zones, never questioning the way things are done. Don't stay idle. Work and give your best shot. Communicate the value and importance of continuous improvement and build it into every aspect of life as a disciplined strategy. Train your coworker to study internal processes and create ways to be more efficient. Study your successes and failures regarding the customers and act based on those learnings to go above and beyond customer satisfaction. In today's fast-moving and competitive landscape, this is a critical factor of most leading projects. You may still be asking, why do continuous improvement? Depending on the size of your team and the degree to which it is implemented, you may see various results. As you could surmise from the list above, the advantages of continuous improvement can be exponential. In addition to financial benefits, employees who work on humanizing the company tend to feel more personally accomplished, leading them to stay longer at the organization and producing more impactful results. Technology and modernization continue to progress more quickly than ever before. If you stick to what you know and what has always worked, you will quickly be behind. Adopting a mindset of the continuous process of upgrading will put your plans on a different, more successful trajectory. Chasing dreams with passion. Personal growth is a lifetime procedure. It's a way for people to evaluate their expertise and potentials, think over their aims in life, and set aims to understand and maximize their perspective. Self-actualization is part of personal development. Self-actualization is the desire that everybody has of becoming. Chasing dreams is not a straightforward thing to do. So, dreams are very important in our life so that we accomplish our passions and desires. Most of the time people are not on the right track since people live with requirements that are hard to control. Thus, we have to control ourselves and set realistic goals. Whether we think about a career change or career evolution, we must observe our passions. When we think about what is required to be prosperous in life and our work, we usually think about features like value, talent, ambition, mental power, self-control, determination. What many of us often miss is the mark to include is passion in this process for success. Your passions are your internal energy source, the fire or determination you have for reaching some destination up ahead. They tell you why you are on this journey and what you want from life. They are your push and pull. These energies might be derived from achievement, a search for meaning, compassion/contribution, and play and creativity. Every adult can tap these passions. The passion we have or don't have for our effort must not be undervalued. Sometimes this could make the principal alteration of all. In the simplest of terms, passion is doing something that motivates you every time and makes you feel happy and contented. It is a feeling that motivates you to work more in a field because you find happiness doing it. If you want to be accurately successful in life, you will have to follow your passion. When you're passionate about something, you will without doubt find ways to overcome all the difficulties that come. Also, when you are motivated, you're more likely to do it better. Further, you'll be more willing to learn at work because your interest will drive you to do it. All this will ultimately lead to the highest levels of success at work. If you want to taste success, the first step is to figure out your passion. Next, set up your own personal development goals and chart a roadmap to meet your ambitions. Work towards it, and you will find that you will be on the road to success. Work hard and work for what is your purpose. Far and away the best prize that life, God, has given us is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. Theodore Roosevelt named God as life in this sentence, but how much is important for us to thank God for every aspect of our life? To become successful, you must know how the road to success looks like, else you might give up along the way. If you didn't know from the beginning that you will face rejections, downtimes, bad moods, and failures, then you might stop trying along the way. The second biggest mistake people make when judging successful people is that they look at the final picture, then judge the person without even bothering to know about what he has been throughout before he arrived where he is now. What is the purpose of life? This question is as old as the human race itself. Some argue that our purpose is to find happiness. Others say our purpose is to love others, to become the best version of ourselves, or to follow God's will. Still, others say there is no purpose to life at all. I believe that our lives do have a purpose and that the clues are all around us in plain view. You can't miss them. Our purpose is so deeply embedded in our culture that we easily overlook it or take it for granted. For someone, purpose in life is to serve God the Creator. For someone else is just to be a happy person who doesn't have hardship. For someone else, purpose is to give and transform society, and for others is to be hero in life. It is our once-in-a-life story, so we have to be happy with what we have and what we can. We have abilities, but often our time is not well managed, and so we have troubles in life to finish what we plan or what we intend to do. Why is it so hard to succeed? Success is hard no matter how you share it. With so many people contending and competing in what many labels as a zero-sum game, achieving any visual aspect of grand-scale success has become monumentally difficult. And it will only get harder as the years wear on. As the world's population swells, so does the fiercely competitive corporate and business environment, making it more and more difficult to succeed. While there are likely hundreds or thousands of possible reasons for why we might fail, success is far more limited in its capacity. To achieve success, there are certain principles and ways of thinking that help to encourage us rather than allow us to give in and throw in the familiar towel. Things can get in the way of our pathways to achievement. Certain events, which might be out of our control, can cause us to swerve significantly off track, hurtling violently in one digression or another. But your ability to succeed has very much to do with not what happens to you in life, but rather how you respond to the things that happen to you. Many people tend to blame society, friends, their bosses, corporations, how much money they have, how many people they know, where they live, how tall they are, and everything in between on their ability to succeed. The truth? You need nothing to succeed aside from clarity of mind and soundness of spirit that's afforded to most of the people that are living and breathing on this earth. However, there are the most common things that seem to set us back in life. When we fail to address these things, we find it hard to move forward and reach our goals. We find it hard to achieve any resemblance of success when these things get in our way. After you read the below list, do an analysis. Be honest with yourself and take inventory of the things you do and don't do regularly. Then commit to making a change. That's all it takes. We set goals the wrong way. There are a right way and a wrong way to set goals. Plain and simple. If you're serious about succeeding at whatever thing, you need to set goals the right way. It's called the smarter goal-setting method. This will take you through the process of setting and achieving your goals, no matter how immense they might be. It involves the institution of considerable amounts of planning and action, but also in analyzing your progress. The better you become at analyzing your progress, and the more particular you are in this approach, the better your chances for success. By tracking things down to the very fundamental complicated details of what you do, such as by the day, by the hour, by the dinar, or by some similar metric, then you'll be far more likely to succeed. Set goals the precise way and you won't have such a hard time following through and achieving them. Most of us are not effective managers of our time. We're poor time managers for the most part. We tend to cave to peer pressure and fold into the comforts and lazinesses that invoke some of our bad habits. But that's also a big reason why we don't tend to succeed in life. Considering that in our present reality, time can never be created or reused, what we do with our time is extremely important. While money can be spent and saved and earned, time cannot. That's what makes time so important. You can't get it back once you've lost it, no matter what you try to do. When it's gone forever. All of your hardship, all your precious moments, all of your education and growing will vanish in a moment when you strive for the wrong cause. When you think about things that way, and you realize the sense of urgency that abounds in life, then you'll govern yourself differently. Time is running out, no matter how you look at it. So use your time wisely. No one is perfect. However, some of us have a way of allowing our awful habits to get a hold of us more than others. Do you know who you are out there? You are at this moment the best version of yourself. As long as you devote your life to improving and making things better. You can't simply expect to do the same things over and over again and achieve different results. If you have some bad habits and low expectations, make sure that you work to extricate yourself from them. The main problem that we face when trying to rid our lives of bad habits that might get in the way of our chances for triumph is that we try to go from zero to hero overnight. It doesn't work. Like a ball bounce, we snap back, eventually reverting to our old selves and quite possibly even worse. Use the micro-changes approach to get rid of bad habits slowly over time. Reduce the behaviors associated with your bad habits slowly, day by day, week by week, and month by month until you're free from their grips. Don't always listen to other people say. It's easy to allow what other people say to dictate the influence and outcome of our lives. When enough people tell us we can't do something, it eventually sinks in. But for people that know, deep down inside, that they were destined for success, to achieve their dreams at all costs, other people's opinions simply don't matter. It's hard to free yourself from that negativity that seems to pervade our closest friendships and family bonds, but it's important to rise above. When the people around us don't love and support us, no matter how bizarre our goals might be, it's hard to succeed. But, whatever the mind focuses on, the mind gets. The path to success and complete human is in each one of us. If you focus on the things that others say, not only will you find it hard to succeed, but you'll also be depressed. Don't allow someone's opinion to dictate your mood or your chances to succeed. You have it inside you. No matter what it is, you can achieve the things you put your mind to. Not anything, but most things in our life with careful planning can be achieved. Don't give up. Honestly speaking, failure sucks. It's the worst possible feeling in the world. There's no other way to put it. Maybe, when you lose somebody or something you appreciate, you get the same feeling. It's one of the defeating, disheartening, and ego-killing feelings on earth. But the thing about failure is that it either drives you or it stifles you. So many of the world's most famous people have failed the most times. But they didn't give up. That's the difference. If you allow yourself to give up, then all of that work was effectively wasted. Henry Ford said that failure was a chance to start again, but this time more intelligibly. If you want to succeed at things, then don't give up. Stay relentless. Big goals are not easy to achieve. No matter what way you slice it, they take time and they take massive amounts of energy. Small actions every single day without fail will move you closer and closer to your goals, whatever they might be. But get the vision of your goal right in front of you. Think of Michael Jordan, a former American basketball player who led the Chicago Bulls to 6 NBA championships and won the Most Valuable Player award 5 times. He was cut from his high school basketball team for not being good enough. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times, I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I am so successful. Mr. Jordan tells us in plain English that the key to his success was persistence. Self-discipline. Oscar Wilde once said, "Success is a science. If you have the conditions, you get the result. And once you commit, you need the discipline and hard work to get you there." At the heart of any successful person is self-discipline. Whether it's success in their personal lives or their professional lives, it all starts with an inherent ability for self-control through discipline. Your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and your habits. You must keep them all in check. If you want to achieve those lofty goals you set, understanding how to discipline yourself is a key ingredient to the success recipe. But self-discipline isn't something new. Self-discipline has been a topic of discussion for thousands of years. And it's been championed by some of the world's most successful people. Referring to our ability to succeed in life at any endeavor, Aristotle once said, "Good habits formed at youth make all the difference." We can't form those good habits without having a handle on our ability to discipline our actions and behaviors. What successful people have come to understand is that discipline is the gateway to the achievement of their goals. They learned how to use discipline in their lives to achieve their dreams. They leveraged the art of self-discipline by creating a foundational set of good habits that helped them to see things through. Theodore Roosevelt once said, "With self-discipline most anything is possible." More recently, Jim Rohn claimed, "Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment." And Robert Kiyosaki asserted that confidence comes from discipline and training. Considering that so much of what we do daily is habit-driven, developing the right habits will help to instill the right amount of discipline into our lives. But where do habits come from and how are they developed? And why is that when we try to change our habits by either breaking bad habits or building good habits, we only follow through for so long before we give up and revert to our old ways? The biggest problem, especially with habits that we've had for years and even decades, are the neural pathways that have been etched in our brains. Neural pathways help to link up neural networks to perform a particular function, such as walking up the stairs, smoking a cigarette, or preparing a cup of coffee in a certain way. Neural pathways help to automate behavior that's constantly repeated to reduce conscious processing power in the mind. This allows the mind to focus on other things that might be going on. This stems from our early days as humans and is part of our genetic makeup, allowing for a more efficient mind that can be used towards many other things rather than the mundane. However, it's the supposed mundane behaviors that are repeated, which work to hold us back in most cases. We tend to have more bad habits that are detrimental to our lives than good habits that help to move us forward. Considering that those neural pathways get etched deeper and deeper over time, it becomes harder and harder to break bad habits or make even to form good ones when the bad ones get in the way. But, if you can instill the following habits into your life, you'll find that disciplining yourself becomes far easier. It won't happen overnight. Remember that habits take time to form and to break. But, if you start small and build, you won't be wondering how you can discipline yourself any longer, since you'll embody the particular habits that promote self-discipline in life. Self-improvement in business. The term seems fairly simple, but how does it play out? What does continuous improvement look like when it is implemented in a business environment? The most commonly used development model is TROF-PDCA, plan, do, check, act. Walking through these 4 steps can bring improvements to any process. So the self-development makes several easy sub-steps. Executing the plan. In this first step, the focus is on defining the problem and coming up with an approach that you will test to solve the problem, asking questions like, what is the capacity? What is the target group? What is the best approach for the outcome you are trying to achieve? This includes defining a team and planning a timeline for execution. When you set your team and time you should test your product, then you execute the problem. After the plan, we ask ourselves how we do it. You can use this step to execute a full plan or to implement a pilot solution at a smaller scale. Either way, this is the opportunity to experiment, try something new to see if and how it works. The key here is to record the steps taken in the process and collect data and feedback along the way. The feedback will test your way ahead. If T show good sign of development, continue. If not, change the approach you do it. After you perform several tests, it's time for a check. This is the opportunity to study the chosen approach and evaluate the results compared to your expectations when planning. Ask questions like, was the approach successful/effective? Did it work as planned? Why or why not? What worked and what didn't work? If the approach was unsuccessful, you can go back to the first step, planning, considering what you learned and why it didn't produce the intended results. If it was successful, you can proceed to the next step. Act upon your results. Now that you've taken the learnings and feedback from the previous steps, it's time to implement the new solution fully. Remember, this doesn't mean it's the final solution or the only approach. Instead, it becomes the new baseline against which you will continue to measure for future improvements in business and projects you perform. Much of the importance of continuous improvement lies in what a business does after they've cycled through the steps outlined above. In a typical business environment, when improvements are made in a process, those improvements become the way things are, not to be questioned until something goes wrong. In continuous improvement methodology, every improvement becomes the new baseline for the next. Implementation of the model. This PDCA cycle is straightforward, and the importance of continuous improvement is fairly obvious, but how do you implement it in a business that is not currently practicing it or is unfamiliar with lean and agile methodologies? Teams and people implement continuous improvement in various ways and to various degrees. It takes a large commitment to embed the methodology into the foundation of a team, but as we mentioned earlier, it doesn't have to be used at a large scale to be beneficial. It can begin on a small scale, with one team or in one department, and then expand from there into other areas of the business. An easy way for material success: generate money online. Material wealth is not the most important thing in life. But don't stay in a nutshell waiting for money to fall from nowhere. Get your passive income. Very modern and profitable for someone. Many see it as a difficult path, but in times of coronavirus and other health issues, it's the best model to become financially independent. It's possible to generate income on the web. We see it happening day in and day out. However, that doesn't seem to be what holds most people back from earning or side hustling in the digital realm. No. Not at all. Most people believe that others can do it. They simply don't believe that they can do it. I get it. I've been there and I can relate. But here's the truth. Most people are dabblers. They try something like it's the flavor of the month, then throw in the towel and give up when things don't seem to go their way. Persistence is the real key to success. That's the truth no matter what you try to accomplish or achieve. Of course, it's especially true if you're trying to make money. Because let's face it, there are complexities involved with earning a substantial amount of cash. Online or offline. But, once you understand the fundamentals, this becomes a walk in the park. Most people don't understand the basis for what causes the generation of cash as a rule. And, yes, there is a hard and fast rule. I'm not just talking about the online world. I'm also talking about the real world. No, not the strategies and the tactics. That's secondary. At the basis of it all is one thing and one thing online. Solving problems. The bigger the problem that you can solve, the more money you can make. Think about it yourself for a moment. When you have a big problem that you need to be solved, what do? Let's say you have ants in your house or a rodent infestation. That's a problem, isn't it? What do? You go online and figure out how you can solve that problem. Maybe you search for a professional to help. Or, maybe you jump on Amazon and you search for products that can solve that problem. Either way, it's a problem. And solving it is paramount. Especially if you have children or a family that you need to protect. In those cases, we would pay just about anything. But there are many levels of problems that need to be solved in every industry. There are so many people out there who make a massive mistake. And I get it. They want to earn, but they don't know where to turn. And when they do turn somewhere, they do it the wrong way. They directly exchange their time for money by entering into an hourly scenario where they get paid for their time. But here's the thing about that. Time is not on your side. It's finite. Not infinite. Yet, we all have the same amount. The billionaire and the pauper each have 24 hours in a day. You can't buy more. And once you spend it, it's gone forever. The difference here is that wealthy people understand this concept very well. They know that time is precious, and that exchanging time for money is a losing battle. Of course, you have to survive, and you might need to get paid hourly to do that. But just understand that getting rich or wealthy can never happen if you directly exchange your time for money. Some of the money-making strategies you'll see here fall into the realm of passive income. Just understand that passive income is a steep climb. Either you need money to invest in something that can earn you passive income, or you need lots of time to invest. For example, you can buy income property if you have the money. Multifamily homes, for example, can produce cash flow every single month. But that doesn't mean you need money to earn passive income. You can invest your time wisely to do it as well. You can write books, create audiobooks, make courses, build sales funnels, and more. All of these things can produce passive income without a huge investment of capital. But you do need to invest your time. But if you're going to focus on anything, my advice to you is to focus on income strategies that don't require you to be there to make money. Sounds cheesy, but find ways that you can make money while you sleep and focus on multiple streams of income. Don't just rely on one income strategy. Invest your time in creating and launching multiple ways that you can earn money so that you don't have to rely on your time to earn. Gratitude and belief in God. I learned one thing in life: to be grateful. Many of us live in the past and forget about the future. Some people get stuck in past mistakes and omissions for years. The very thought of such a way of life leaves a person stuck in the past and, instead of learning and progressing, directs life to the wrong goals. All of us, from the very moment of waking up in the morning when we get up with God's name and start this great day before we do what we know best. The skills we possess and what we have gone through in life, including our mistakes, are an opportunity to gain valuable experience with which we can work, feel, and be better. If we want real success in life, we need to connect to God, to show our gratitude toward Him. We spend far too much time wanting things. The habit of gratitude helps move us away from constantly wanting what we don't have and towards appreciating what we do have. When we do this, some remarkable shifts begin to occur. The effects of gratitude are far-reaching. From improving our mental health to our emotional well-being and our spirituality, gratitude can do so much. But most importantly, it helps to move us away from a state of lack and towards a state of abundance. Even if we lose many battles, there is always a chance to get satisfaction from gratitude and think of our values as God's servants. When we live in a state of lack, it becomes downright impossible to focus on being disciplined and achieving our goals. We spend so much of our mental capacity on worrying about what we don't have and living in a state of fear that we forget about what we do have. The state of lack translates into physical ailments. It produces stress and releases stress hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine, which impacts many systems in our body. When we stress, our digestive, reproductive, and immune systems are all adversely affected. Spend 10 minutes every day writing out all the things that you're grateful for. Even if you feel you have nothing to be grateful for, find something. Seek and you shall find. Forgive people. When we spend a large portion of our days in a state of anger, regret, or guilt, we create more problems than we do solutions. Hate and anger consume far more energy than love and forgiveness. When we forgive, we learn to let go of certain things. Without the habit of forgiveness, we couldn't achieve self-discipline. We're too worried about how someone wronged us to even focus on discipline or achieving our goals. If someone hurt you, learn to forgive them. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to forget. Just forgive and release that negative energy back into the universe or down to the earth. It's like a thunder when strikes in a certain place. We often strike in the wrong places, so we have to choose something else when we are angry. Channelize the negativity. By forgiving, we let go of the negativity that zaps our capability to be self-disciplined. If you want to learn how to discipline yourself, forgiveness is surely one major avenue. While it might not seem like a discipline habit at first glance, it's one of the most important ones that exists. Think about all the people that you're annoyed with or that have offended you, and write down why you forgive them. Try to put yourself in their shoes. What would you have done in their situation? Try to find some humor in it. Try to find a lesson learned in all that transpired. I know how hard it is to forgive some people, especially those that have wronged us in life. But it wasn't until I let go of all those feelings of hurt and ill feeling before things started to improve. Don't become busy worrying and stressing. Move forward in your life. Meditation and prayer. Meditation helps to put our minds at ease. It provides us with a spiritual centeredness that acts as an avenue of growth. When we meditate, we cancel out the noise, so to speak, and realize that we're just one of the very many connected beings in this universe called planet Earth. Meditation also has a big impact on our ability to be self-disciplined. It clears the mind's palette and sets the right tone for the day. It helps to improve our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health all at once, allowing you to reap some of the biggest results for minimal time invested. Meditation or prayer doesn't take long. It can be done in 10 or 15 minutes. Keep your mind still and don't let it wander. When it starts to wander, reel it back. Feel your energy grounded in the earth, open your palms to face the heavens, and feel the air as it moves in and out of your lungs. Think about the amazing thing Creator has done to you. Think about how special you are, and how special are people around you. Think about the complexity of the universe, and the complexity of your body, the processes which occur around you, and in the tiniest cell. Think about macrocosmos and microcosmos. Meditation is about aligning our physical bodies with our spiritual bodies. When we can align the two, we can live a more focused life by not worrying about the common things that tend to weigh us down. It helps to lighten our load, so to speak. Have an active goal of internal happiness. Live a life of reason. This is different than a passive goal setting. With a passive goal setting, you set goals in your mind. They're passive because they lack concrete details. You haven't properly defined them, so they live in the theoretical. The concept of positive psychology discusses the importance of pursuing happiness to better our well-being and enable us to prosper. It's studying the emphasis of your positive qualities versus some other negative aspect. In turn, we have an ongoing idea of personal fulfillment in various forms, getting a degree we're happy with, going out with people who motivate us, and even shopping for material things that ignite joy. As we seek to be happier in our lives, we are more joyful, optimistic, and hopeful for our future. Once we reach this inevitable state of feeling of happiness, somehow the magical state of flow and wealth inevitably comes. In opposition, the more we look towards finding ways and meaning for happiness to seep through our lives, the harder it is to obtain. We, as a human race, have become so focused on looking for happiness that we ironically forget about its true form. We look at advertisements and movies about seeking happiness that we have even developed this conventional culture of what it should look like. Similarly, bloggers and entrepreneurs today look at the world, chasing happiness because they know a desk job isn't for them. But there are still the worried few who enter entrepreneurship with the idea of fame, money, and a steady payroll without the 9-to-5. These people belong to the believers of conventional pleasure. If we see one person happy being an entrepreneur, we automatically assume that becoming one too will magically save us from our own life's problems. Entrepreneurship is an amazing gift and will change your life tenfolds. However, it isn't an escape and cannot be a life changer. Active goals are different. With active goals, they're written out. They have a profound meaning. They're specific and measurable. And you have a plan towards their attainment. When we set long-term goals in this manner, and we also engage in active goal setting daily, it's far easier to achieve our dreams. Active goal setting instills discipline because it gives us direction. It also helps us to avoid distractions by seeing just what needs to be done on a given day. Without active goals, we're left like a ship without a sail stuck in stormy waters. To set active goals, first, you must set some long-term goals. If you have long-term goals, then you need to engage in monthly, weekly, and daily goal setting and planning. And you also have to actively track your progress towards your goals. With tracking and analysis, you can see how far you've come, where you are, and how far you've left to go. It's far harder to get distracted because you can see the results there before your very eyes. And your unconscious mind will find fewer ways to lie to you or help you cover up the truth. Every morning, create some daily goals for yourself and identify the most important tasks that need to be done in the day, and then, chase the frog, so to speak. Healthy food. The science is clear, eating the right foods can lead to a longer, healthier, and happier life. But some people find it harder to eat right as they get older for many reasons. Maybe they don't have much of an appetite. Maybe they have trouble cooking or eating. Maybe they don't know what's healthy. Or maybe they do and just don't like the idea of green food. But it's more than just finding the right foods. Michelle Bellantoni, of the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, points out that you need to eat them in the right amounts, too. It looks like the optimal calories, for most older adults, will be 1,800 a day, she says. And for successful aging, we think about the entire body, rather than just specific organs. Many foods are especially good for certain parts of your body. Bellantoni suggests splitting those 1,800 calories up into proteins for your muscles, calcium for your bones, and a basic heart-healthy diet. What most people don't realize is that the human body spends a large portion of its energy processing and digesting foods, 10 to 25% of it. When the diet is rich in carbohydrates, fats, and even proteins, the body is using more energy to process that food, some of which is largely useless to us. Raw foods and fruits offer the biggest boost for energy because they require less energy to process and provide more energy for usage after the fact. This is also known as an enhanced thermic effect of food, TEF, or dietary-induced thermogenesis, DIT. The amount of energy we have plays a large role in how focused we are. When we're focused, we can approach our goals with discipline. When we're too comatose from the food that we've eaten, this is far harder to achieve. We spend most of our time feeling too sluggish to get anything done. It's important to not only eat a healthy breakfast, but to eat healthy throughout the day. To do this, you have to plan your meals and break some bad habits. If you eat fast food every day, you're not going to have the energy to approach your goals with enthusiasm or have the discipline to follow through. Food can change the neurochemical makeup of the brain and has a large influence on the mind-body connection. Opt for raw, healthy, and organic foods when you can and limit your intake of junk. I spoke about this in my book Tips for Better Health from Prophet Muhammad, so it's worth reading for detailed information. Sleep enough and on time. Sleep is directly connected with our ability to discipline ourselves. And getting the proper amount of sleep is a vital prerequisite to getting anything done. When we don't get enough sleep, it affects our mood, ability to focus, our judgment, our diet, and our overall health. When we talk about chronic sleep deprivation, the type that affects many individuals, things get even worse. Studies indicate that people who are deprived of the proper amount of sleep regularly are at a greater risk for certain diseases. The lack of sleep has a great impact on our immune system. Most adults need 7 to 8 hours of good quality sleep on a regular schedule each night. Make changes to your routine if you can't find enough time to sleep. Getting enough sleep isn't only about total hours of sleep. It's also important to get good quality sleep on a regular schedule so you feel rested when you wake up. If you often have trouble sleeping, or if you often still feel tired after sleeping, talk with your doctor. It's important to get at least 6 hours of sleep, no matter what. Try not to drink too much caffeine at least 5 hours before bedtime so that you don't interrupt your natural sleep cycle. Stay away from too many toxins throughout the day such as alcohol, cigarettes, or prescription medicine if it can be avoided. Overall, the benefits of getting enough sleep are far-reaching. Aside from helping you to be more disciplined, it will improve your memory, curb inflammation and pain, lower stress, spur your creativity, improve your grades, sharpen your attention, help you avoid depression, and limit your chances for accidents. Exercise. Exercise is a keystone habit. It acts as a cornerstone of a life filled with good and positive habits and free from bad habits. Want to know how you can truly discipline yourself? Instill the keystone habit of exercise into your morning routine. I can't begin to express the benefits of exercise. I've also talked about it in the Tips for Better Health from Prophet Muhammad. But, then again, many people extol the great benefits of exercise. Yet, not everyone makes exercise a priority in their lives. So why not? While many people are busy running around, trying to get things done in the day, they're failing to take the bull by the horn when they don't exercise. Many people think that they can't build up this habit or they have too much to do to worry about, rather than exercising. Well, that's where many people are wrong. By instilling the keystone habit of exercise, not only can you become more disciplined, but you can improve your life in many ways. First, exercise reduces your levels of stress and pain by releasing endorphins and neurotransmitters such as dopamine and serotonin. Second, exercise improves health by increasing blood flow and oxygenation of the body's cells, helping to fight off diseases and boost the immune system. And, of course, exercise increases our ability to focus on the task at hand, allowing us to lead a more disciplined life. To instill the habit of exercise in your life, start small. Begin by walking around the block for 5 minutes in the morning. Just 5 minutes. Do that for 1 week. Then, increase it to 10 minutes and do that for a week. And continue with this pattern. Eventually, exercise will become a full-blown habit. Organization. To be self-disciplined and achieve greater goals, we need to be organized. Organization is a tendency that needs to be wholly embodied, not only in your professional life, but also in your personal life. This includes organizing the subject in your home and office along with the stuff in your mind. An organized life is a disciplined life. Start small if you label yourself as completely scattered. Begin by organizing one small space each day. For example, start by organizing your desk drawer. The next day, move on to organizing your medicine cabinet in your bathroom. And so on. Do one small thing a day to improve your organization. That's all it takes. Like all the other habits, the habit of an organization can be slowly built up over time. It requires some effort and attention, yes, but it will pay off enormously in the long run. When the physical space around you is organized, your mind becomes more relaxed, stress-free, and able to focus. In turn, you can be more self-disciplined when your life is more organized. This includes keeping lists along with organizing your drawers. When you're done using something, put it back into the place where it belongs rather than just leaving it out. It's the little things that we do daily that have a large impact on the quality of our lives. Pay attention to the small stuff and you'll reap large benefits. Time management. Time management is the process of organizing and planning how much time you spend on specific activities. It seems that there is never enough time in the day. But, since we all get the same 24 hours, why is it that some people achieve so much more with their time than others? The answer lies in good time management. The highest achievers manage their time exceptionally well. By using the time management techniques in this section, you can improve your ability to function more effectively, even when time is tight and pressures are high. Good time management requires an important shift in focus from activities to results. Being busy isn't the same as being effective. Ironically, the opposite is often closer to the truth. Spending your day in a frenzy of activity often achieves less, because you're dividing your awareness between so many different tasks. Good time management lets you work smarter, not harder, so you get more done in less time. When you're running several separate businesses and projects, you almost have no choice but to effectively manage your time. Without the habit of time management, it would be virtually impossible for me to get anything done. When we can properly manage our time, we have room for the things that matter. Namely, we have room for activities that will help us achieve our goals. To achieve our long-term goals, we have to perform actions that might not be vital but are most certainly important. Nevertheless, our ability for self-discipline is largely derived from our ability to effectively manage our time. The prominent time managers of the world are also some of the most successful people in their respective fields. Why? Because they use time as a benefit rather than a detractor. In the end, what saves the day? Brave persistence is the one quality more than any other that can be a warranty for success. And success is something we all want, isn't it? But to be successful takes persistence. Whether you want to lose a few pounds, get an A in a class, or any goal that you want to succeed in, you need to be persistent. It is the difference between a successful outcome and a failed one due to giving up. The definition of persistence is the quality that allows someone to continue doing something even though it is difficult or opposed by other people. This is not something you do with external goals, but it is something you do internally. And in the face of pain, agony, and defeat, it is difficult to stay persistent. When getting started on your vision to success, identify your wants and desires. It is when you know why you can get a source for inspiration and keep yourself motivated. Next, figure out how to get what you want. This makes it easier to achieve. Make your goals actionable daily and follow through. All your goal setting and planning will go to waste if you won't be able to develop discipline and good habits. Be confident in your work that you will achieve what you want. Know and accept that there will be obstacles and setbacks, then prepare for them. Nothing important was ever accomplished without adversity, setbacks, and difficulties. One of the ways you can prepare for setbacks and obstacles is to anticipate potential problems and have a contingency plan. If things do not work out the way you hoped, then review the steps you took and the process you followed. Reevaluate by examining what went wrong and where. Be very flexible and experiment to see what techniques and strategies work best to get where you want to go. There will always be people who will tell you something can't be done, your product or service won't succeed, you aren't good enough, and so on. Stay away from naysayers. Instead, seek advice from those experienced in your field of endeavor and those who want you to succeed. They can assist you by making suggestions and recommendations based on their experience and expertise. You will still have to do the hard work, but there is nothing more encouraging than having positive reinforcement. The key attitude to achieve great achievement is to be persistent in making progress. You will face challenges and obstacles, but the payoff comes when you refuse to give up. If your goals are not achieved today, tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year, persist, because being persistent will pay off after a while. Success will come to those who dare to want it. Naturally, no set of disciplined habits would be complete without persistence. Persistence is a certain habit that helps us to not give up. Even when we do fail, it allows us to get back up again. Without the habit of persistence, self-discipline would be largely impossible. Why? Because achieving our goals is hard. Getting discouraged is easy. And giving up takes far less effort than continuing to push through, especially towards something that inflicts a lot of pain before it provides us with any pleasure. But that's just what it takes. What we need to do is realize that even the most famous people who succeeded in life have failed many times over. Failure is an important stepping stone in life. Without failing, and failing big, we couldn't achieve the lofty goals that we set for ourselves. There are certainly many ways to instill this habit, but the best way is to come up with some profound reasons as to why you want the things in life that you do. When our reasons are strong enough, they can get us through just about anything. Everything that happens to us in life is part of the wisdom of God that was necessary for us to attain knowledge and wisdom and to be able to progress. So, there are no mistakes, maybe just some failure we need to learn from, and it was all necessary to become the person we are today. Every night at midnight we get new 24 hours with which we get new chances to create new values, establish new relationships, and welcome a completely new relationship from this world that surrounds us. Not everyone can receive the gift from Almighty God, and not everyone can understand it. It's a new leaf in a book that only you can write. A life story in which one leaf can be the last, but it can also be the beginning of a new phenomenal chapter that will fill and liberate you. One thing we need to understand. It is better to die on our feet than to crawl into the yoke of our fears for the rest of our lives. Life is the fulfillment of a dream for which the seeker of knowledge should go. A dream to be fulfilled with good deeds and a mission that if we all do not accept it among the billions of people on this planet, we will not be able to experience the uniqueness with which we are distinguished. Many blessings have been bestowed upon us and unfortunately, we do not notice them. Make your future glorious, and every day is an opportunity to be what we were created to be, worshiping the Almighty Creator and admiring His creation. Be brave and grateful. What you value and what you focus on will enrich or impoverish you. By exalting the Word of God and thanking the blessings through our deeds and words, we thus focus on achieving our enriching mission. Appreciate your God-given blessings, your family, your friends, and your health, all of which we are not even aware of. Come to the success we all hope at.